Hey guys, I'm Holly. Welcome to our home. So I am here with my designer, Marie Jo. I actually found her because we looked through a house before we found this one, and she had done the decorating. And I was like, whoever this is, I want. And so then I reached out to you because that's how I found you. I was
I'm
like,
so glad you did.
yeah,
I know. So remember when we first walked this house?
I do.
Still
It was
under
studs.
construction. Yes.
Yes.
What we call sticks. That's all there was. But you were so clear about your vision for this entire house, even though hardly anything was there yet. You knew pretty much exactly what you were going for aesthetically. And I think you did a great job verbalizing that to me so that I could sort of get into your head. Because I feel like as a designer, that's our job. We you know what you want, but you don't necessarily know how to get there.
Right.
So I think we had a great connection from the get-go, but you explained so well your overall vision.
Yes, when I came in here, I feel like I did have a vision, but I didn't know exactly how to make that vision come to life. So I feel like you guys nailed it, though. I love it. I've always loved kind of a transitional, neutral style. Not too modern, not too traditional. So I feel like you guys really nailed it and helped it come to life. So
It is a fantastic home, and I do think that it reflects your family so well. That's,
thank you. Yes.
So our goal, you wanted everything very neutral, but you did want some moody moments, which we sprinkled here and there. Everyone can see as we walk through the house a little more. But really, the sort of overall vision was for something that was very comfortable, very cozy and inviting, layering all kinds of very neutral textures, woods, and then just peppered in slight touches of drama, which we did with the warmer spicy tones and some charcoals, some touches of greens, because bringing the outdoors in is never a bad idea.
So the kitchen is one of my favorite spaces. Obviously, we're in here the most with 3 kids. I feel like we all kind of just gather in here, and we all just kind of end up in the kitchen, which is one reason I love this house, is because it was so open. And obviously, I feel like it makes a huge statement, which I don't know. I just love this hood, and I love everything about this kitchen. And it was a journey.
It was a journey. Let's talk about that a little bit, because everyone sees the final result and it is amazing and it's functional and it lives well. But one day we're doing a walkthrough and there was a little bit of the countertop that was proposed to be installed everywhere in the kitchen. And Holly sort of had a moment, panic. That's the counter? I'm not sure that I love it. And, you just have to not panic and pivot and think, okay, what should we do?
So obviously the island is very substantial, and it's probably the first thing that I knew I was going to notice whenever you walk through the front door. So I felt like it just needed to be a dramatic wow statement. And so I feel like you just really made that come to life with this marble that you chose.
It is a fantastic stone. So I think that with a large island like this, really, someone can be a little more daring and want to make a statement with it. Or you could choose to sort of let it go away if you have something else that's really dramatic. But I think that the choice of this more movement, more wow marble in this case really makes the space, because everything is so monochromatic. It really layered just the right level of oomph and drama into this space
while still being neutral, but stunning.
Exactly. And it has all of your tones in there, really, so it's not a strong departure. I also think that it is a little cooler, and having that little touch of cool to balance all the warmth is always a good choice.
Agree.
People are scared to mix creams and whites, but we've done that throughout the home in some of the lighting, and it really sort of balances the warm tones so that you see the each individual elements rather than becoming a cream blob.
Right.
That.
And I think that was really I had trouble seeing once I came into the house, like how I was going to create a space that was neutral but not falling flat. Because sometimes when everything is white and cream, it just falls flat. So being able to bring in those colors of neutral tones, I feel like y'all did an amazing job, like layering in all of the neutral tones without it falling flat.
You're so right. I mean, that is the key, is to not, a lot of times people think that they need to match, right? They have their color swatch and their fabric and they're trying to match all of their creams. And that's actually, I think, the wrong approach, because that is when it feels flat. The hood behind us is also a massive statement in this kitchen and was so important. And because we have a few different textures, wow elements going on, even though they're all very organic and quiet, we chose to wrap the backsplash with the same material and pull it all together, keep it very cohesive.
And I'm so glad we did, because originally this was supposed to be a tile backsplash. Yes. So it's supposed to be tile on the whole wall, and it was white. I think it was white subway tile.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that we changed it to the marble, because I feel like it just like the movement just like goes up the wall, and it's just like
it really
my favorite
and
thing.
The Arcus stone that looks a little
yes.
limestone that adds another layer, or wood.
And this was one thing I feel like I originally had wanted this to be white or cream, and you talked me into the gray, and I'm so glad that you did, because I feel like you were so right. The white would have just, I feel like, kind of fallen flat, and the gray is just that little top. So I'm admitting that I was
favorite words. You are so
you were right. You were so right about it. You really were.
Late night text.
Yes, yes. Over this color, yeah. I was like, "Are you sure?" You were like, "I'm sure."
I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna redo it myself.
Yeah.
If it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah. No, it just pulls everything.
It's great.
Beautifully, and the little shelves that are built in.
I know.
You know, never leave anything unused. Those little moments. We have so many great little details and nooks in this home, and it makes it functional, but also it elevates the overall look of everything, because it is all very detailed.
So one of the spaces that we are in the most is actually outside. So one of the reasons we loved this house is because it has this giant, gorgeous patio where we can kind of enjoy indoor-outdoor living. And I don't know, I just love how it came together. It's really more like a second living room for us. We're out here all the time. The kids love it. We can enjoy the view, hang out with friends. It's like a fun space.
It feels so good out here right now. Now that it's finally warm and it's a beautiful day. But this is exactly how it makes me so happy to hear that, you know, you're actually living the way that, you know, as we designed the house, that's very much what we talked about. We wanted this to be a space that was going to be very comfortable. So everything is, of course, weatherproof in this space. But it's extremely comfortable so that you can really lounge for hours out here, fireplace, game on. Another little touch to the fact that we're in the South was to actually choose that instead of doing a regular sofa, hang a large day bed to be used for so years to make him. Yeah, they get in this all the time and they love it. I mean, someone can nap in here. Oh yeah, my mom naps that night, and I was getting that is awesome. That is awesome. We also integrated a few more old things, which is such a good trick again. These were carts and factories, but we removed the wheels and did the base instead. And I know you were a little skeptical about this. He was one of the ones where I was like, it was another trust exercise. And I love how it turned out. It really brings a lot of character into this space. We needed something so large and low, yeah, right, to keep the view to the fireplace and everything. And using too, of course, created something that had a little more substance. Good trick when you can't find something that's large enough, pairing things is always a good idea. But gives you a great surface when you're entertaining. I've seen on one of your posts you had like food spread out. I forget if it was the Super Bowl, but
We had a Blakely's birthday party out.
yeah, that's others. Yeah, just then it functions so well on top of looking so great.
So when you first come in our front door, the first room here to the left was originally supposed to be a formal dining room, but I really didn't feel like we were going to need that. So we chose to turn it into my office, and we wanted it to be closed off. So functionally I could have privacy if I have a call or something like that, but we still wanted it to feel open. So we chose these big iron massive doors, which I love because they still allow light in. And they're just very dramatic and eye-catching. And we decided to kind of pull in more feminine tones in here, but still keep it neutral. And I probably spend the majority of my time in here throughout the day. So I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it's still neutral, but just beautiful and feels finished. So one of my favorite rooms in the house is kind of unexpected. It's actually this little homework nook, as we call it. This is kind of where the girls will sit and do their homework. And I love that we were able to just kind of have fun in here. I feel like it was just a small space, but sometimes small spaces are the most fun to do.
They really can be. I love that you were game to do another wallpaper. I think that it is a little unexpected to have a pattern wallpaper next to a plainer, more textural wallpaper. That layering creates very dynamic design. I also really, really love to infuse most of my new homes with old touches. And another goal of Hollie's was to sort of stamp this house as their new Nashville home. Mm-hmm. And she has a fabulous hat collection. So I ended up finding this is actually like an old vintage rake that was pulled behind horses, and we hung it here to display. And really, this is not a display. She grabs a hat.
Yeah. Yes.
But it is such a fun way to store them and have them out as part of the design also, just never sort of neglect that something can be really pretty, interesting, and functional, and that layering some old pieces. This is also a vintage rug.
So pretty.
Hollie was very open to not having everything be spanking new, and it just adds so much to the house.
Yes, I love the feel of the vintage rug. I love this little hat rack that you came up with. I think it's just such a good nod to Nashville, nod to fashion, which I appreciated, and I just love how this whole space came together. So probably one of our other most used rooms is our game room, which is kind of funny because when we first saw the house, I feel like I came in here and I was like, I don't really know what we're going to use this for. It just seemed kind of like an extra space, but it's really turned into a great family area for us. The kids watch movies in here, and I loved that we did the 4 chairs. It's very conversational, and it's the darkest room in our house as far as like the paint color, but it doesn't feel dark because of all the windows. So
no, it is so bright and open. So much of the back of the house is so well connected to the outdoors. And as soon as I saw that room and the amount of natural light that it has, I just thought, let's do something different. Let's make it moodier, darker. And you were so game for that. Yeah, it is really bright. And it still feels very neutral. It's neutral, but in a slightly different way, which makes it a fun destination to come and watch TV. And I bet when you have friends over,
yes, open the doors,
and then everyone can sort of flow in and out, watch games.
Yes.
Very, very easy to live and so cozy.
Yes. And I love the fact that we were still able to have all of like the beautiful accessories in here. Like I knew I wanted to have just this whole space with the shelves feel very finished. And I love everything that we chose in here. And I love what we chose for the coffee table as well. I feel like even though, you know, Blakely, my youngest, is 3, my kids are in here a lot, but I think you can still kind of make these spaces feel finished even when you have kids.
Well, let's talk about those girls and their work and how we designed them to really sort of try to capture and reflect who they are, because that was really important to me, was to give them the space that functioned well, but that reflected their personalities and was also really pretty.
Yes, I love my girls, and their rooms were some of the most important rooms to me to do, just because I really wanted to see, you know, I have 3 girls, but they're all very different. They all have very different personalities. And so I really wanted to just give them spaces where they could feel at home and comfortable and kind of feel like their room was their own space. But I still wanted it to feel cohesive to the rest of the house. And I think y'all did an amazing job.
But they were so fun to design, really. And they had some input. They did. It was so fun to work with you and them both on that, to try to create moments in their room. I mean, I think they all, first of all, they're great spaces. They're large rooms, and even the high ceilings. And so we had a lot to work with. For example, in Brielle's room, how we just chose to do that great wallpaper that feels like a wow moment, almost like a little bit like a mural.
Yes.
It just really gives a little drama to her room, and I think that she is someone who just kind of wanted that.
So the primary bedroom is obviously one of the spaces that we're in the most. And I really wanted it to have a good balance of feminine and masculine, since obviously Derek is in here too. It's both of our rooms. And I feel like we did such a good job of that. I love how we did the dark, dramatic bed, but then we still kept it feeling kind of light and airy with some of the lighter tones in the bedding. And then JFY found this beautiful artwork, which I feel like shows texture, and it's still neutral, which I love. I feel like this space came together so beautifully, and we're in here so much, and it just feels so cozy and homey. So when we were going through and designing the house, I knew that I wanted something very large and impactful on this large, gorgeous wall that we have here in the living room. And Marie Jo found this gorgeous piece of art. I love it so much. It's got so much texture in it. And it's definitely a larger piece, but I think it still feels soft with the ladder. And then she layered the furs here, and it just kind of all brings the room together. But this piece is definitely a statement. As soon as people walk into our house, they always comment on it and they love it, and it just makes me happy.